Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Podcast. I'm Connor.
And I'm Linda. How are you doing today, Connor?
I'm doing great, Linda. Thanks for asking. Today, we have a wonderful topic that everyone can relate to.
That's right. Today we're talking about family. This is such an important topic because we all have families and we often talk about them with friends, colleagues, and new people we meet.
Exactly. By the end of this episode, you'll learn useful vocabulary, common expressions, and natural ways to talk about your family in English.
So grab a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in.
So, Linda, let's start with the basics. When we meet someone new, one of the most common questions is, do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yes, or people might ask, how big is your family? These are great conversation starters. Connor, why don't you tell us about your family?
Sure. Well, I come from a medium-sized family. I have two siblings, an older brother, and a younger sister. So there are three of us kids in total.
Nice. And what about your parents? Do they live nearby?
My parents are both retired now. They live in the countryside, about 2 hours away from me. They really enjoy the peace and quiet there.
That sounds lovely. So, when you introduce your family, you mentioned siblings. That's a great word for our listeners. Can you explain it?
Of course, siblings is the general term for brothers and sisters. It's very useful because instead of saying, I have two brothers and one sister, you can simply say, I have three siblings.
Perfect explanation. Now, let me tell you about my family. I'm an only child, which means I don't have any siblings.
Interesting. So you grew up without brothers or sisters? Was that difficult?
Sometimes I wished I had siblings to play with, but I had many cousins, so family gatherings were always fun and noisy.
That's great. Speaking of cousins, let's talk about extended family. Linda, can you explain what extended family means?
Sure, your immediate family includes your parents, siblings, and children, but your extended family includes grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and so on.
Exactly. For example, I might say, I'm very close to my extended family. We have big family reunions every summer.
That's a good example. Now, listeners, let's practice some useful phrases. Repeat after me. I come from a large family.
I'm the oldest of three children.
I have a close relationship with my parents.
Great. These are natural ways to introduce your family in English. Now let's talk about describing family members. This is where we can use lots of adjectives and really make our English more colorful.
Absolutely. Let's start with personality traits. Connor, how would you describe your mother's personality?
Oh, my mom is incredibly caring and patient. She's also quite creative. She loves painting and always encourages me to try new things.
Those are wonderful qualities. Notice how Connor used incredibly and quite to emphasize the adjectives. These are called intensifiers, and they make your descriptions stronger.
Good point, Linda. Now, what about your father? What's he like?
My father is really outgoing and sociable. He can talk to anyone. He's also ambitious. He worked very hard all his life and built a successful career.
Wow, impressive. So we can use adjectives like outgoing, sociable, ambitious, caring, patient, creative. These are all positive traits.
But of course, we can also talk about challenges or different characteristics in a respectful way. For example, I might say my mother is quite stubborn sometimes, but that also means she's determined and doesn't give up easily.
That's a nice way to put it. Instead of just saying negative things, we can balance it with positive aspects. We can say, she can be, but she's also.
Exactly. Here are more useful adjectives: generous, reliable, funny, serious, organized, laid back, hardworking, and easygoing.
Let's practice some sentences. My father is extremely reliable. I can always count on him.
My grandmother is the most generous person I know. She always thinks of others first.
Beautiful. Now, what about physical descriptions? Sometimes we need to describe what family members look like.
Right. This is useful, especially if you're looking at family photos with someone. We can talk about age, height, hair color, and other features.
For example, my uncle is tall and slim with gray hair and glasses.
Or, my niece is just 5 years old. She has blonde, curly hair and blue eyes, just like her mother.
When talking about family resemblance, we can say things like, I take after my father, which means you look like him or have similar characteristics.
Or, everyone says I look like my grandmother when she was young. That's another way to talk about family similarities.
We can also use expressions like, she has her mother's eyes, or he got his height from his father's side of the family.
These are all very natural expressions that native speakers use all the time. Now let's talk about relationships within families. This is really interesting because every family is different.
That's so true. Linda, would you say you're close to your family?
Yes, very much so. We make an effort to stay in touch regularly. Even though my parents live in a different city, we video call at least twice a week.
That's wonderful. Stay in touch is a great phrasal verb. It means to maintain contact with someone.
Exactly. We can also say keep in touch, which means the same thing. For example, after I moved abroad, it was harder to keep in touch with my extended family.
Another useful expression is to be close to someone. This doesn't mean physical distance. It means you have a strong emotional bond.
Right. I could say I'm particularly close to my mother. We talk about everything.
Or you might say the opposite. I'm not very close to my cousins. We don't have much in common.
Now, what about when families spend time together? What do you usually do with your family, Connor?
Well, we have Sunday dinners together whenever possible. It's become a family tradition. We take turns cooking, and everyone shares what happened during the week.
I love that. Family tradition is an important term. These are activities or customs that families do regularly.
In my family, another tradition is celebrating birthdays with a homemade cake. My mom always bakes it herself, no matter how old we are.
That's sweet. In my family, we have an annual beach vacation every summer. We've been doing it for over 15 years.
Wow, that's a long-standing tradition. Now, let's be realistic. Not all family moments are perfect, right?
That's true. Sometimes family members disagree or have arguments. That's completely normal.
We can say things like, my brother and I sometimes argue about politics, but we always respect each other's opinions.
Or, my teenage niece and I don't always see eye to eye, but we're working on understanding each other better.
See eye to eye is a great idiom. It means to agree with someone.
Another useful expression is family dynamics. This refers to the way family members interact with each other.
For example, in our family, my mother is definitely the decision maker, while my father is more laid back.
Or, the family dynamics changed when my grandmother moved in with us. We had to adjust to living together.
These are realistic ways to talk about family life. It's not always perfect, but that's what makes families interesting. Now let's talk about important family events and milestones. These are big moments in family life.
Yes, things like weddings, births, graduations, anniversaries. These are times when families come together to celebrate.
Exactly. For example, last month, my cousin got married. It was a beautiful ceremony, and the whole family was there.
Or, my sister just had a baby. I'm an aunt for the first time, and I couldn't be more excited.
These joyful events bring families closer together. What about you, Linda? Any recent family celebrations?
Actually, yes. My parents just celebrated their 30th wedding anniversary. We threw them a surprise party.
How wonderful! Throw a party is a common expression meaning to organize and host a party.
We also have expressions like the family is growing when someone has a baby, or starting a family when a couple decides to have children.
That's right. And sometimes families go through difficult times too. It's important to know how to talk about these sensitively.
Yes. For example, my family went through a tough time when my father lost his job, but we supported each other and got through it.
Or when my grandmother passed away 2 years ago, the whole family came together for the funeral. It was a difficult time, but we found comfort in being together.
Pass away is a gentle, respectful way to say someone died. It's more sensitive than saying died directly.
Another phrase is to lose someone. We lost my grandfather 5 years ago.
These are important phrases because life isn't always happy, and we need to talk about difficult times too.
Absolutely. Other life changes include things like divorce, moving to a new place, or children leaving home for college.
We might say, "It was hard when my nephew moved out for university, but his parents are proud of his independence."
Or my parents divorced when I was young, but they maintained a friendly relationship for our sake.
These situations require sensitivity, but it's good to know how to express them in English. Now let's practice some common questions you might be asked about your family and natural ways to answer them.
Great idea. Let's start with the basic ones. Question 1. How many people are in your family?
You could answer, "There are 5 of us, my parents, my 2 brothers, and me." Or, "It's just me and my mom. My parents separated when I was little."
Perfect. Next question. Do you get along with your siblings?
Yes, we're really close. We talk almost every day. Or, "We had our differences growing up, but now we're much closer."
Get along with means to have a good relationship with someone. It's very commonly used.
Here's another one. Who are you closest to in your family?
I'd say I'm closest to my mother. She's my best friend, really. Or probably my older brother. We've been through a lot together.
Good answers. What about, do you live near your family?
Yes, I live about 10 minutes away from my parents. Or, no, unfortunately, they're in another country, so I only see them a few times a year.
Here's a sensitive one. Are your grandparents still alive?
Yes, thankfully. All 4 of my grandparents are still with us. Or, my grandmother on my mother's side is still alive, but my other grandparents have passed away.
Notice how Connor answered sensitively. Now a more personal question. Do you want to have children someday?
This is very personal, so you can answer however you feel comfortable. Yes, I'd love to start a family someday. Or, I'm not sure yet. I'm focusing on my career right now.
Or even, "I prefer not to discuss that if it's too personal." That's perfectly acceptable.
Exactly. You always have the right to keep some things private. Now, before we finish, let's learn some idioms and expressions related to family. These will make your English sound more natural.
First one is, "Blood is thicker than water." This means family bonds are stronger than other relationships.
For example, even though we argued, blood is thicker than water. We always support each other in the end.
Next is, "Like father, like son," or "like mother, like daughter." This means a child has similar characteristics to their parent.
My dad loves football, and so do I. Like father, like son.
Here's another one. "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree." Similar meaning. Children are similar to their parents.
She's a talented musician, just like her mother. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
How about to run in the family? This means a characteristic is common among family members.
Artistic talent runs in the family. Everyone in my family can draw or paint.
Or heart disease runs in the family, so I try to eat healthy and exercise regularly.
Good example. Another one is to be a chip off the old block. This means someone is very similar to their parent.
Your son is so clever. He's a chip off the old block.
And finally, family comes first. This means family is the most important priority.
I was offered a great job abroad, but family comes first, so I decided to stay.
These expressions are used very frequently in English, so try to remember them.
Well, Connor, I think we've covered a lot today.
We certainly have, Linda. We talked about introducing your family, describing family members, relationships, important life events, common questions, and useful idioms.
Remember, talking about family is one of the most common conversation topics in English, so practice these phrases and expressions.
Try talking about your own family using the vocabulary we learned today. Describe your parents, siblings, or other relatives to yourself in English.
And don't forget to listen to this episode again. Repetition is key to learning.
Before we go, if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us create more content for you.
And give us a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Your support means everything to us.
We'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Tell us, how big is your family? Who are you closest to?
Share your family stories with us. We read every comment.
Thank you so much for listening to Daily English Podcast. Remember, practice makes perfect.
Keep learning, keep practicing, and we'll see you tomorrow with another exciting topic.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next time.